Disclaimer. The following podcast contains material and language of a strong sexual nature that may not be suitable for minors. While not in every episode, this podcast may contain triggering subject matter that may be brought up without warning. Any information or advice given is for entertainment purposes only. We are not doctors. Please consult your physician with any medical questions or before making any decisions regarding your health. Listener discretion is strongly advised.
They say that variety is the spice of life. Well, for a lot of people, variety is also the spice of the bedroom. This week on the show, Sarah and I investigate kinks, fetishes. What are they? Which is different? How to do them safely? How they can be dangerous sometimes. Join us in The Step
with Seth and Sarah.
So
I'm so excited about this episode. I can't even tell you.
Yes, because I think when you and I started this show, this is one of the ones we had like penciled in, like, we must discuss kinks and fetishes.
Well, because honestly, let's face it, this is the subject matter that got us into this in the first place.
Yes, this is how
Yeah.
How you and I became kindred spirits, because, like, wait, you're weird too?
I think, okay, because it was a Facebook group that one of us had joined or we were posting about, and it was something about like not kink shaming.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not going to kink shame you, don't kink shame me.
Yeah.
And just a lot of conversations about that. And I think we both kind of went, hey, wait a minute.
I think that may have been maybe the final straw, but I mean, you and I have been having these discussions for years now.
Well, that's also true.
But I think really the important thing to start with kinks and fetishes is, what's the difference?
You know what? That's a really good question, because for a long time, I'm not going to lie. So as much as I've been into this world and involved with it, I didn't know. I use the two terms interchangeably, and I have for many, many, many years. And when we started talking about this episode, I'm like, I should probably find out what the difference is between a kink and a fetish before we do this episode.
Yeah, you were like today years old when you found out that they weren't the same thing.
I was like 2 hours ago, an hour ago, I was like, I should probably Google this and let everybody know what the difference is between a kink and a fetish. And there is a difference. There really is.
Go ahead and hit us with the Googles.
I'm going to hit you with the Googles, guys. So there is actually an important distinguishment between the two. Distinction is, I think, the word I was looking for. So kink is an umbrella term. That's going to be pretty much anything that red-blooded Republicans don't consider normal sexual activity. So if you're not doing it missionary style, man and woman, it's going to be a kink. Basically anything that is outside the more common mainstream forms of sexual activity. Most prominently, this includes all of the aspects of BDSM, which, for those of you who don't know, is bondage and discipline, dominance and submission, or sadism and masochism. But it also includes things like group sex, polyamory, pegging, pony play, littles, age play. So much more. Fetishes, on the other hand, it's much more specific and is either based in psychology or sensation, in that it is necessary for the individual's sexual arousal and enjoyment. So, for example, it might be a kink of yours to be rough in the bedroom, but it's not required for you to get off. So you can either have sweet lovin' with your partner, or you can have a little rough and tumble.
But if you have to have the shit kicked out of you every time you have sex, then that is...
Well, hang on.
Yeah.
But in order to orgasm, you have to have a finger in your butt. That's a fetish. Or there's an issue with your prostate, but I'm not judging.
I mean, either way, no shame either way. I mean, so before we really get into the nuts and bolts of the different kinks that us and the listeners enjoy, I think it's really important to point out that it's okay not to have one. If you're
absolutely.
If you're perfectly content with what would be the, as Sarah just put it, the red-blooded Republican sex, fine. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what? As weird and kinky as I am, I still enjoy some good missionary now and again. It just depends on what mood I'm in. So,
absolutely.
If that's what you're into, if you are totally cool with just sex, that's awesome. Like one of the listeners that submitted some kinks, her kink, that's what brought this up, was she has no kink. She's like, why can't we just bump genitals for about 20 minutes and be happy? And you can. I'm all for that. Mazel tov.
Bump genitals and be happy. You know what? I like it.
Eloquent. So eloquent.
And no, I think that's a great point. And I think that's where we tend to kind of, we tend to forget that. I think a lot of us, and I'm sure that I'm guilty of it too sometimes. It gets hard sometimes when you are hearing so much of the, oh my gosh, that person's a freak. I don't tell everybody about my personal life. Most people that I work with and most people outside of, my very small bubble of close friends, they don't know everything that I'm into, and there's no reason for them to. But, when they start talking and you start hearing some of the things that they're throwing around, oh, this person's a freak. Oh, this person's this. Oh, this person's that. It's easy to get defensive. And it's easy to start, I'm getting defensive and it's, I don't know. I'm probably going off on a tangent here, but it is easy to forget sometimes that it's totally okay for people not to have kinks and to not get mad at people for just being into normal vanilla sex.
That's again, no shame in anyone's game. As long as everyone's of age and consent, go for it.
Exactly. Which actually brings me to a really good point.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad that you said that, because I do want to point out, since we're talking about the difference between kinks and fetishes, or we just were a second ago, some fetishes are problematic.
Yes. Yes. And I think the biggest one, which is just makes my blood boil, is the people that try and normalize things like pedophilia.
Right. Because that is an illness.
Yes. They've gone to the point where they've tried to make a pride flag for it. And the LGBTQIA plus community was not having it.
Oh, no. And I don't care. Ugh, okay. Listen, and I'm really confident, or I'd like to be really confident, that anyone who's listening to this knows, and I am preaching to the choir, that the kink community in large and the LGBTQ plus community in large does not support in any way, shape, or form people with a pedophilic disorder, people with a dangerous voyeuristic disorder, not a consensual voyeuristic disorder, but a dangerous, problematic voyeuristic disorder.
If you're peeping on your neighbors without their consent, that is illegal. You are not engaging in a kink or a fetish. You are breaking the law and invading their privacy.
If you are engaging in a fetish that does not allow for consent and causes clear harm to another, if acted on, that is problematic. That is not okay. Period.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I agree. I would hope our listeners would agree.
Yeah. So, and no, like I said, the kink community at large, the LGBTQ plus community at large, they are not behind those people. Period. Yeah. We would like them to get help, the help that they need to have a healthy life. but
we will never accept them the way they are.
No, we are not supporting those fetishes. Those fetishes are problematic.
Okay, so we've got that out of the way. We've got
yes.
the ugly out of the way. Are you ready to talk about some of the fun in Kinks and Fetishes?
Oh my God, yes, please! Okay. I'm so excited.
So let's start first about. So there's so many accessories when it comes to a lot of kinks, but I think one of the biggest ones is types of clothing and different textiles and textures and stuff like that. Like for example,
yes.
Like people that really are into, be it gay men and bears or women or straight men, is leather and stuff like that. And like the smell of leather, the feel of leather, almost like it can play into a little bit of a daddy dom type of situation, but not necessarily. But I mean, do you have experience or fondness for leather and clothing?
I love leather. So leather, as I think a lot of people know, comes in different forms. You have the very raw, stiff leather that kind of still has that nubbly feeling to it. And then you've got the very slick leather that's been worked and is shiny and supple. And leather comes in a lot of different styles, but it doesn't matter how it comes. It always has that smell to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it almost always has that kind of squeak to it. And I love it. And I love leather.
There's nothing quite like being restrained with leather. I mean, mechanical restraints.
And that's what I love. Like, I'm not a big fan of like leather clothes.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't really do it too much for me unless it's like a bustier, or like a corset. But oh my God, no, a good pair of leather cuffs. A collar, 100% leather.
So also as it pertains to all the clothing and stuff, I mean, I was into a particular thing that you apparently never heard of involving clothes ripping.
Yes.
So,
yes. Okay. Yes. Tell me.
Okay. So I partake in a particular sexual act called the aristocrat. And it's not that dirty joke from the movie.
There's got to be other names for this out there because I had never heard of this.
So what it is basically either you and a partner or you and a group of people, depending on who you're with, dress in extremely formal, almost Victorian type clothes. And you sit down, you have a nice meal, and you talk like, oh, it's a beautiful day, the weather was fantastic. And then at a certain point, you just drop everything and just start violently ripping the clothes off each other and just fucking like it's the last time. So to me, the sensation of ripping all those huge layers of clothes off, it's really exciting.
And see, that is 100% right up my alley, which I don't understand why I have never heard of this, because masquerades are like my thing. Masks, the full gowns with all of the underclothes and the petticoats and the bloomers and the shoes and all of it. I just, woof.
And I mean, there's something about it's almost along the lines of like consensual non-consent, even though everyone's there and involved. But.
And you know what? Okay, hang on. So let's back up a little bit. So this wasn't actually on our list. And it was a conscious thing on my part. And we didn't talk about this because, sorry, folks, Seth and I do discuss some of these things before we get on the show.
We are friends outside of being co-hosts.
So we did not discuss consensual non-consent. And I did not bring it up. On purpose. But you just did. So I think that we need to kind of touch point on that as to what that is, because I think that can be very confusing for a lot of people. So Seth, do you want to explain that, what consensual non-consent is?
So consensual non-consent is...
Or do you want me to?
Well, let me try, and if I miss anything, you can fill it in. Right. So in my experience, consensual non-consent is agreed upon forcefulness. Like, you are going to do, or I'm going to do this, and this. I'm going to be very forceful. It's so close to a rape play type of situation. But there is pre-given consent. So the green light is there and you just go with it unless someone does actually like use a safe word or says, hey, whoa, stop. This is going too far. Did I hit the nail on the head? Or am I far off on that? Or... No.
Okay. You hit the nail on the head perfectly or pretty much perfectly. Yeah. So it is essentially a mock rape. It is agreed upon beforehand. There are typically parameters, lines, drawn like, okay, no anal or no face fucking or no, you have to wear a condom or, there are lines, there are rules agreed upon beforehand, and usually safe words or, like the scene is set beforehand. Everything is discussed and decided on and consented to. Like the consent is the big thing before anything happens.
Absolutely.
And then, yeah.
Especially in these situations, because if you don't have consent, it becomes rape. It just does.
Exactly. And then if any line is crossed, it becomes rape.
Absolutely.
Because at that point, you're doing something that your partner does not want you to do. And in any of these situations, if you're
pressuring someone to do this because it's your thing, it's not cool.
Exactly. And as we talk more about these, the thing that it gets to me so badly when you go into any situation where kink is involved is you have to be so careful about who your partner is. You can't just walk in willy-nilly and hook up with somebody and say, hey, let's do this very personal thing that requires this huge amount of trust. Person I just met at the bar 2 hours ago.
I'm sure there was someone who would disagree with that, but I agree with it. I think there are plenty of people on, well, no, there's plenty of people that belong to clubs or on Tinder all the time that would say like, yeah, I could totally, do this with this guy or girl I just met. But I agree that it should be something with a trusted partner.
Well, and you absolutely can, but you're
taking a chance.
And especially if you're on the submissive end of it, and when I say submissive end of it, I mean if you're the person who's being tied up or tied down, or if you're on the receiving end of a consensual non-consent play, that's a huge risk.
Yes.
You're putting yourself in somebody else's hands under the premise that they are going to comply with whatever rules you have laid forth. So, if you're cuffed down, if you are attached to a piece of furniture with chains and leather, you're not going anywhere. If that person suddenly decides that they don't want to play by the rules anymore, you're fucked.
Hey, I want your PS5 and I want to leave right now.
Yeah, I want your PS5. I'm leaving right now. Oh, sorry about the fact that you live alone and nobody's expecting you anywhere for 3 days.
Yeah. So yes.
Sorry, it's just
no. It's fine. Because you know what, we need to stress the safety of importance with this kind of stuff with kinks. Because we haven't talked about yet, but we're going to talk about like choking and fluid play and stuff like that. Blood play.
Oh, absolutely.
The trust and importance and knowing what the hell you're doing in all of these is so important. If you restrain someone and you cut off circulation to a body part, that could be a huge deal. If you choke someone and that you choke them out, that's a huge deal. If you are doing blood play and you cut an artery, guess what? They're in danger. So please study, know what you're doing. Don't just walk blindly into things. Have someone show you how to do something first. Don't too inexperienced people jump into things. Study.
Exactly.
There is so many great resources. You can find so much help on places like FetLife or any of the number of websites where you can find help on how to do these things. You can do it safely. So
exactly.
That's just you got on the CNC consent pedestal. I'm getting on this one. Safety is important. And this is coming from, again, 2 medical professionals. We want you guys to get your rocks off, but please God, be safe.
There's nothing sexier than safety, Seth.
And you know what? That might sound like a joke to some of you, but it's fucking true.
It is fucking true.
When everyone's breathing at the end and super happy, that's the best part.
Hey, because you know what? Here, I'm going to get really real here for a second. And I kind of told you a little bit about this, Seth, before the show started, but I have been in situations where coming out of them, I'm not going to go into too many details, but my life was at risk.
Yeah.
I put myself into a situation. I was young. I was stupid. I didn't know better. And I put myself into a situation with someone that I didn't know very well. And I allowed myself to be restrained. And they choked me out. And I was unconscious with someone that I did not know
and then,
half as well as I should have in a hotel. And no one knew where I was.
That had to scare the ever-living hell out of you once you woke up, too, I'm sure.
Oh, I was terrified. I woke up and I wasn't out very long, but it was long enough for me to realize, to know that I was out. And then he did it again.
Oh, Jesus. So, yeah, I'm guessing this.
And then I was done. And luckily he let me leave.
I'm guessing this guy didn't.
At that point I was done.
This guy didn't get around two, did he?
Oh, no.
Okay. All right. So are you?
No.
Are you ready to get back into the exploration of kinks and get off of our high horses and our pedestals?
Yes. Off of our high horses, our pedestals, and I fucking been there. Don't make the same mistakes I did, you stupid shits.
Yes. We love you all. Don't die.
I love you, my little chicken.
So we talked about the textures of leather and all that, and even, rubber suits, latex, all that good shit. One thing that I've always found very interesting, and this was submitted by a listener, hair, because he is what the gay community calls a cub, which is a small gay man. He's not a twink, which is a hairless small gay man. He's a hairy young gay man, and he loves him some other hairy gay man, bears. So, and I know plenty of dudes that enjoy, quotes, natural women with, unshaved, or women that enjoy a good hairy man. So, I mean, I see it. I don't particularly like it. Like, I'm not a huge fan of any kind of body hair. I wish I was totally hairless. But what do you think?
I'm kind of equal opportunity on that. I'm kind of good either way, male or female. Hair doesn't bother me, whether it's chest hair, bush, underarms, legs, like as long as it's clean and it's, maintained. Like I don't want stubble.
Yeah.
Because stubble hurts. That's
I mean, yeah.
And as long as it's clean, like, the only real, I think body hair that bothers me is like beards, like big beards, like when they get scragged, like when they get gross, like as long as they're maintained, but like when they're gross and you're like hiding your leftover lunch.
So yeah, okay. So the standards for females, I'm gonna talk about that for a minute because this it's funny that threw me off for a minute, but the last woman that I was with had what I would call like 3-day growth, like a little scruff downstairs. And it had been so long since I had seen any hair on a woman. I was like, whoa, okay. I haven't seen that in a while. and she was taken aback. She's like, really? I'm like, well, I'm just saying I don't mind. It's very well kept. It's very clean, but yeah, it's been a minute since I've seen any of that.
No, I mean, like I said, as long as it's not like scratchy, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I mean, me either. To each their own. I'm not sure I want to be, going down on a Wolverine, but I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, my biggest concern is like, is it going to leave my face raw?
Yeah.
It's like I said, the hair doesn't bother me. Just, I mean, you're going to push it out of the way.
If you can.
Well, I mean, you got to get your fingers down there anyway and like move the labia aside.
This is true. All right.
So, I mean, the hair is going to go with it.
I'm going to let you pick what we're going to talk about next. of the next two that we have written down, I want you to pick the one.
I have to pick out of the next two?
Yes, pick out of the next two, and then we'll go we'll rant about those for about, 10, 20 minutes or so.
Okay, well, obviously I'm going to have to go with breath play or choking.
All right.
Because despite my negative, my previous issues with it, it's still one of my favorite things.
I am a big fan, and I had one girl tell me that I ruined her for never having it again, because once we broke up, she could not find another guy that was willing to do it, and it really pissed her off.
My biggest issue is finding someone that does it correctly.
Yes, like I said earlier, find someone who knows what they're talking about. And it might be weird to do that, but I had another man teach me how to do this. I was very good friends with this guy and his wife, and he taught me how to do it. He showed me with the right amount of pressure where to squeeze, what to use. So I'm indebted to him and his wife to an extent, I guess, for introducing me to something that I thoroughly enjoy now. And most of my partners that are willing to participate in that, as not all of them are, seem to really enjoy.
Okay, and I just want to pop in here real fast because I think that you made a good point. So you thanked him and you thanked his wife. Mm-hmm. And that's a good point because you have to listen to your partner.
Mm-hmm.
If your partner is saying that, this feels good, this doesn't feel good, I like it when you do this, I like it when you don't do that. With any other sexual activity, you're going to listen to that. If you're going down on your partner and your partner says, oh, I like it there, a little to the right, a little more finger, a little less tongue, you're going to listen to those prompts. The same thing is going to go with kinks.
One of my all-time favorite movies is Chasing Amy. You ever seen it before?
I have.
And there's a scene where they talk about going down on girls and how they don't talk enough, which is I'm not saying that girls don't. Most modern girls really do. But it should be, sex acts should be treated like the air traffic controllers, like they said. Constant directions and information.
All right, so I'm going to get a little boys versus girls here because I'm just going to throw this out there.
Mm-hmm.
If a guy gives me a direction,
mm-hmm.
I follow it because as a woman, I know how to take direction.
But I'm gonna say the same thing. If a girl if I'm performing and a woman tells me, "Hey, do this," I'm going to do that. Or move over there.
Yeah, but you know what? Most men I know won't even listen to directions if I'm trying to get them to the goddamn airport.
Well, that's unfortunate. But I will say that I'm not like that. And I'm sure that if you're smart enough to listen to this show, you were with me on that. Go team, listen. But what's also important with breath play, safe words can be eliminated because you can't talk.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. I mean, if you're choking somebody out, you don't have the breath to give a safe word.
It should be treated like the UFC, tap outs, or some kind of other clue, like a flick of the wrist or rampant blinking or something should be there. You should have something.
Well, right, because also if you're restrained and being choked out, you cannot tap.
You should have you could tap your wrist. Like I'm doing right now.
Well, maybe.
Yeah. But you have figured out a way with your partner how you're going to identify when you're reaching your threshold. When you can't verbally.
And those should all be discussed in advance.
Yes. There should be a plan. So again, some inside baseball. You and I normally talk before we even hit record for 20, 30 minutes before we even touch the button to record each episode.
Usually because we're slackers and while we come up with this show's theme and kind of a general idea, we don't do any real planning but right before we record. I
have no problem before getting freaky in the bedroom to have a plan, a game plan. Can you deviate from that? Yes, because we've deviated from our script at least 3 times now, haven't we? Because we chased.
At least, yeah.
Because we chased a rabbit. If you see something,
squirrel.
Yeah, if you see a squirrel and you want to go for the squirrel, go for it. But just make sure it's in the parameters. If you go and try something and they're not into it, just go back to what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Okay, so the next one of the 2 that I wanted you to choose from is another personal favorite of mine, which is a bit strange because I love one of them and I don't like the other ones. Blood and other fluid play. I am a huge fan of blading and blood play, but if you want to incorporate scat or piss or even spitting, I'm not into it. But blood play, big fan. But this is probably, along with the choking, one of the more dangerous ones because if if you, like I said earlier, if you cut them in the wrong place, kill them very easily.
So, well, and it's not just that. It's not just, the injuries that can be incurred through the cutting. It's also knowing your partner and bloodborne illnesses.
Mm-hmm.
Condoms are great for actual sexual intercourse, but when you're cutting someone open and they are bleeding and you have blood and then there's active blood flow happening, the odds of you having blood transmitted person to person is much, much higher.
Yeah, which is funny to me because, me being who I am, dealing with blood all day and being terrified of it to an extent, like I won't touch another human being at work without gloves on and sleeves on and all that stuff. But I will cut someone's stomach and roll the blood on their abdomen and have that be our, grinding lubricant,
Sticky.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what? I think it's erotic in the sense that it's taboo. I like the idea of the pain. It's, it's got that kind of that almost like a cringe factor to it, which I think is hot. But I don't know that it's something that I would turn to even on a semi-regular basis.
As much as I like it,
it would probably be like a special occasion kind of thing.
As much as I like it, it's not an every time thing. It's not even an every month thing. This is like, birthdays and holidays type of thing for me.
Happy anniversary.
Yes.
Like,
well, again, at the same time, one thing with kinks is you can't get desensitized to a lot of them. So if you keep going back to them, I mean, there's certain ones I used to do that I just don't do anymore because it got old. So I don't want this one to get old because I enjoy it that much. So I think that's why it's like that rare treat. Let me treat myself tonight.
I get it. All right, so I have to point this out because I thought this was really interesting. So, so urine is a big kink out there. And for anyone who doesn't know, it's also referred to as water play or water sports.
Which, okay, here's my funny thing. You will find this on the front page of porn sites, but you won't find blood play a lot of the time.
No. Mm-mm.
But yeah, so water sports.
Yeah. So I am not into, I don't like the smell of urine.
No.
Again, I work with it. It's not anything that I find stimulating. Somebody smells like pee, it's usually because something bad has happened. It's not anything that I find exciting. So it's just not, don't pee on me. I don't want it in my mouth. Like, urine is waste. Like, your body is getting rid of it. Like, you're getting rid of waste. So you probably shouldn't be putting it in your mouth. Okay, no, you really shouldn't be putting it in your mouth. However, as one of our listeners, we were talking about kinks and things that we liked. She said that, and I agree with her here, that she enjoys holding a man's penis when he pees. And I thought that was super interesting because I do too. And I'm not sure what it is. Now, for her, it's erotic. She finds it purely erotic. She's not stroking him or anything. He's soft when she does it. She likes to hear him piss. She likes watching him do it. She thinks it's because he's allowing her to engage in something that's considered so off limits because it's so taboo. I don't think that's it for me. I don't know what it is. I just, like I told you earlier when we talked about this, Seth, if you and I were on a drive and we had to pull over and you were like, I'm going to go stand by this tree and take a piss, I would be like, hey, you want me to hold your dick? Like no sex, bro. Like no big deal.
I'd feel weird about that, but
like, you need a hand? Like, no, I don't want to hold your beer. I'll hold your dick. Like, that's fine. Like, no big deal.
Hey, whatever works. No,
but it's seriously, I don't know. Like, it's a thing. And maybe it's because I don't have one.
Yeah.
It's.
Why do you think guys like boobs?
Well, there's a whole list of reasons behind that.
Yeah, but I mean,
like, psychologically.
Yeah, I know, but for the most part, it's like, ooh, I don't know, those are nice.
Well, yeah, but I don't find it sexually appealing. So hold your penis while you pee.
Aw, that breaks my heart.
Look, I just want to make it do the wavy thing when you pee. That's all I want. Okay.
You want one so bad, don't you?
I do.
So if I bought you a shiwi, would you use it?
Fuck right, I would.
All right, so listeners, you need to send Sarah a shiwi. Okay, so,
I'd pee in all the bottles in all the traffic.
All right, so let me ask you this. Do you consider sweat at all to be considered part of the fluid game? Because one of the most...
There are some people that just fucking love sweat.
Normally, I don't like it, but I will say that one of the most gratifying experiences of my life was in a very hot car, and it was just super sweaty, and that was the appeal of it. Because it was just dripping on each other.
Nope. Okay, so I love a good hot fucking sweaty, just, we're just going to go balls to the walls, and I don't want to stop until we can't even move a muscle. But I swear to God, if I'm on bottom and you are hovering over me and your sweat like drips on my face, I'm going to punch you.
To be fair,
in the nose.
To be fair, I was not the only one on top. She sweated on me too. Okay. There.
Well, yeah, no, I totally get that. But like, here's the thing. Like, I'm going to grab a fucking towel. Like, if I start sweating that bad, I'm going to get a towel. We're going to be like toweling off in between. Like, it's just rude.
You know what? We had fun and we still talk about it to this day. So.
Well, that's good. And that's just me. But I don't know. I have this thing with sweat. I don't like sweat. I want to get sweaty. I want to have sex that's so great that we get fucking sweaty and it's disgusting. But I don't actually want your sweat on me, like to drip on me.
That's totally fair. It's totally fair. So, okay. Moving on.
And definitely no spit. Definitely no spit unless you're hawking a loogie on my vagina.
No, not even that. I've never done that.
And I will.
Ladies, I will never do that to you. Even if you ask me to.
Oh my God. I will have all the spit all over. Like, oh my God. No, the best blowjobs they're just so much spit. So much spit. Yeah,
but there's a difference between, mouth fluid as a residual of having your face down there and spitting on someone. It's not my thing.
No. I mean, like spit on my pussy before you go down, or before you put your dick in it.
That's what I'm saying. I just that's not my thing. If you like it, awesome. I'm happy for you. And those out there, happy for you.
I'm not saying I'm not saying do it because that's a kink. I'm saying do it for the lubrication.
Well, I mean, that's fair. That's fair. but you okay, but here's the thing. You know me well enough to know that there's been like 25 minutes of foreplay before anything goes into anything sexual.
To be fair, Seth, I don't actually know you that well.
Well, okay. How about this? You've known from what I've said and from people that you know that I've been with. That is true.
I know you by reputation. That is, yes. So that is your reputation.
Not mine. Just not me saying either. Other people. That's what it sputs it out.
No. I said that. Okay. I said that's your reputation.
All right.
Ladies, that is his reputation.
Thank you. Ladies, how you doing?
You're welcome.
Yeah, let's be fair to me now. All right, so.
But no, don't spit in my mouth or again, I'll punch you in the nose.
Yeah. So.
And don't. Sorry.
Don't what? Go ahead.
Okay, no, hang on. So here's another question. And there are a couple of people who will listen to this who are going to understand exactly how strongly I feel about this. And I don't... Okay. Come play.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that?
Okay. So in what respect? Drawing on my stomach after I finish, or spitting it back in my mouth, or what are we talking about?
Okay, so all right, when I go down on somebody, so when I go down on my partner,
yes,
and he finishes, I'll swallow. That's fine. That's okay. Like straight from the tap, right down the chute, no big deal. Don't come on my face and then expect me to like lick it off. That's
Wait,
not going to happen.
You're not a porn star? Aw. Okay, so
if we're having a threesome, like I'm not swapping cum with anybody. Like that's not happening.
All right. So do you want to hear a personal?
Like,
this is
please do, because
personal story of mine.
I can't like.
So I'm not that into it. Like it's fluid. It goes where it goes. But the bar none best blowjob I ever got in my life. I finished, and then she just kind of like drew up and down my penis and around the head and over my balls with semen. I just kept doing it for about 20 minutes, and it was like I was continuously orgasming. It was just like I wasn't producing anything, but it just felt amazing. And unfortunately, I never dated that girl again. But it was awesome. So yeah, I would be open to trying that again. And I have.
Well, that's different.
Yeah, I have finished places that weren't quote traditional, but that was totally at the request of the person. You know, it's never been my request. It was their thing, not mine.
Maybe when I say come play, it's more like in the mouth.
Yeah. After
orgasm, not like straight down the hatch.
Yeah. Like snowballing, never. No.
Right.
Never going to happen, ladies. I'm not doing it. But at the same time, I don't expect you to. I don't expect you to do anything. If you want a warning before I'm going to finish so that you can get out of there, I'm going to give you that. You're going to get whatever you need. If you don't want it in your mouth, it's not going there. End of story.
But again, that's part of respecting your partner and consent.
Yeah.
Okay, and you know, and actually, while we're there, I'm going to ask you your opinion on this, because I have a very strong opinion on this, and I want to know where you lie, and I think that we're probably on the same page. I'm going to ask this because I understand that this is kind of a trend that's going around, or was a trend, and I'm old and behind the times. So what is this that I'm hearing about? Oh, what the hell are they calling it? Like, what are they, like the ninja or something? This move that guys are doing, where like halfway through sex, they like sneak the condom off.
That's not new. That's just a douchebag move. It's called the ninja, the Houdini, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, you just kind of like have your hand down there like you're maybe playing with it or something, and you just kind of slide the condom off and keep going. It's a scumbag move.
Okay, so rape or not rape?
That's rape. Consent was not given for that particular act.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure we were on the same page.
Oh, we totally are.
Okay. Yeah, because folks, that's not fucking okay.
No. Not at all.
All right. So we talked about all the bodily fluids.
Yeah, we talked about
except poop.
Yeah, no scat play ever. No, it's gross. Poo's like I said, I'm a weird, freaky guy. I will probably not ever touch your butt. Don't touch mine. I'm not into anal. I'm not into butt play because poo comes from there.
Hey, Seth.
Yeah.
Guess what?
What?
We are 100% going to talk about anal at some point.
Of course we are. I'm not saying I haven't done it. If my partner wants, my partner gets it. But it's not at all the thing that I'm going to want to do. I will never suggest it.
Hey, Seth.
Yeah?
Do we need to bring a guest on the show for that?
Well, yeah. It's always good to have an expert on the show that's not us.
I'm not talking about an expert. I'm just talking about somebody that I can talk to about it without them cringing.
I won't cringe, but sure, absolutely. Future episode,
your
children.
Voice just goes up an octave.
Future episode, my lovely listeners. All right, but anyway, the next thing.
Continuing on.
The next thing we want to talk about is, in my opinion, a bit of a moral gray area, and that's age play. You know, bigs and littles, pretending you're a kid, or wearing a diaper and doing baby play. Man,
paraphilic infantilism.
Yes. Not something I'm into. But it's one of those things. If everyone's consenting adults, then fine. But you will get into the perception that it is just a facsimile of pedophilia. And what are your thoughts on that?
So I think you're right. It is kind of a moral gray area. And I think that there are really a couple of different schools of thought. And one of the biggest ones is that it, like you said, it's a facsimile of pedophilia. It's a way for a pedophile to get away with being a pedophile without actually breaking the law, because they can be with a partner who will pretend to be a child in order for them to get sexual gratification. But when you talk to folks that participate in this kink, because it is a kink and not a fetish for most of them. And as we explained at the top of the episode, kinks are an exploration. Mm-hmm. It's something that you do because it's different, it's fun. It is not a fetish. Most of these folks do not require this in order to achieve sexual gratification. Yeah. So when you have a couple who one partner has assumed the role of the adult and the other partner has assumed the role of a younger person, and with age play, it can be like we discussed before, where they are a baby, where you have diaper play. And I'm not saying that it's always the case, but often the case with that is there isn't. And maybe I'm going too far when I say often, because it's not really my forte. I haven't been involved in it.
Yeah, you were not nearly the expert, nor am I, on this as we are on other things.
But I don't believe that there's always or even often a sexual side to the diaper play with the baby play. That it's diaper changing, it's bottle feeding, it's a lot of care.
Yes,
is the big.
The people that I've known that have been into it, it was always sexual. It was never like living a lifestyle. There are people that do it that way, that they just want to be cared for as a child. But for the most part, from people that I've seen, and again, this is people that I've seen. This is not my.
I'm not talking about littles. I'm talking about the baby play in particular.
I know that's what I'm saying. Is like a lot of people that were into the hardcore, the diapering and the bottles. It 100% was a sexual thing. Again, these are the people that I know.
And maybe I'm wrong.
These are the people that I know. I'm not going to try and do some Dunning Cougar effect where, oh, well, I know these people, so therefore everyone's like this. I will never do that. I'm not that guy. So.
And hey, listeners, this would be a perfect opportunity for fucking somebody who's into this to let us know. Like, What is it like for you? Is it sexual for you? Is it not sexual for you? What's been your experience in the community? Now, I've known littles where it's been a lifestyle, where they've been in a relationship with their partner, and the little side of their relationship was not sexual. They kind of had a two-part relationship. So the main part of their relationship, they were two consenting adults in a relationship. They did all of the normal adult things. They paid bills, they worked, they raised children, they did everything that you would expect two adults to do. But they also kind of had this flip side to their life, where one assumed the role of the adult caregiver and the other assumed the role of like kindergarten aged child, where they were able to sort of let go and be taken care of and coddled and whatever it was that they needed to do. And it was very psychological, but it wasn't sexual.
That's totally fair.
Now that was just them. But it varies. And littles range in age from babies to teenagers. And it varies relationship to relationship, partnership to partnership.
So I guess my question for you is, have you tried it?
They're very different.
Have you tried it?
I have not tried it.
I've been around people that have done it. I've watched it. I've been in a voyeur group and we watched people do it, and it just didn't get me there. So it's not my thing. But if it's yours, go ahead. Just, as long as it's an adult.
Wouldn't mind doing it. Mm-hmm. I think I would like to try it maybe.
Would you want to be the parent or the child?
I would totally want to be the little.
Okay, fair.
but I think I'm too much of a control freak. I think it would take a very specific person to be my big.
Our lovely Sarah, that hardcore type A personality. All right, so I know this next one is so near and dear to your heart, and I like it too. And it's a big, huge blanket term, but role playing.
Yay!
And I know
my
that
favorite.
Yeah, you are super into having like writing partners and doing like basically doing writing erotica between two or multiple people, and that is that is your role play. Like you're role playing, writing a story together almost, or you are.
Yeah, no,
entirely.
That's exactly what it is.
And
I have. No, sorry, go ahead. I interrupted you.
Yeah, for a lot of people, other role playing would be like, playing farm boy and stable girl, or superheroes, or, cops and robbers, that kind of thing. But I think, I think your form of role play is a kink for the mind,
Yes.
And the body, because you're going to, you've told me before that you've really gotten excited writing these things and had a little alone time.
So it's kind of serves a dual purpose. So with role playing as a kink, it's been, like you said, it's kind of an umbrella term. It's used very widely. Like you said, you think about like porns back in the day, Stable Boy and, the Milkmaid and whatever else.
Pizza's here.
Where you're right, exactly. I heard you sprung a leak. What? You pay me? So it's very, you have those different things that you do, and those are fun. It's, there's a little bit of that. I think that I can't think any couple doesn't do that to some extent. But no, the role playing that I do, like you said, it's essentially writing erotica.
Do you put yourself in that character when you're writing it, or are you just being a writer writing a character?
So the way I write is I'm just writing a character.
Okay.
So I write on FetLife.
Mm-hmm.
I have a few different partners that I write with. Most of them I've been writing with for a long time. And when I say a long time, I mean like the beginning of the year when Corona hit and everyone was quarantined.
You mean 9 years? 9 years ago at the start of 2020?
Yeah, 10 years ago. When shit hit the fan. No, it was really amazing to see, as we've discussed before, I'm on FetLife, which is a kink and fetish website. Think of it like kinky Facebook. That
you have finally talked me into joining, so yay.
I have, yeah. Welcome to the dark side. It's so everyone is talking about how difficult, being quarantined is, and not seeing friends and not seeing family and being stuck at home. And I thought it was amazing because the one thing I could really see on FetLife was this huge influx of people on the online role play message boards looking for online role play partners. And everyone has different styles. And some folks role play where, you asked before, do I put myself in the role or am I writing characters? And some folks do. They put themselves in the role and it's them. They're writing themselves into the story, which is fine. Everyone has their own way of doing it. That's not my preferred way. That's not how I write. But it was so beautiful to see, and it was so refreshing because people really used it as a therapy. And honestly, I mean, writing is a therapy for me. It's an outlet that I have, but it was really, I loved seeing that. I loved seeing the number of people who showed up on the message boards and said, wow, this is really something that I needed to be able to reach out and just to interact with other people. I'm not, I'm single, I'm interacting with my friends and family on Facebook, but, I'm not getting out. I'm not meeting new people. I'm not having the physical relationships, and I'm not going on dates, and I'm not doing these things that I want to be doing. I'm not going to these fetish nights or these kink nights that I'm used to going out and going to. I have to have an outlet. I need an outlet. And they use that as an outlet, their imagination and the imaginations of people around them. And, and it helped.
Absolutely.
And I thought that was just fucking fantastic.
You ready for another personal Seth story when it comes to this or not?
Always.
All right. So I was never big into like a lot of my friends are into like pen and paper role playing games or either LARPing, that kind of thing.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes, that kind of thing. It's just not my thing. I have so many friends that are so into it, but you
mean me, right?
Well, you're talking about me. You're one of them, but one of my old roommates was having a LARP, and he begged me to come because someone canceled, and he really needed this character played. So it's like, okay, fine, I'll come hang out, and it was fun. But the weird thing that was happened was that my character was in a masochist sadist relationship with this other woman that was playing a character, and we played it that way all night. We were hanging all over each other, making out heavily, and there was some touching going on. I saw her 2 days later, and I approached her. I'm like, "Hey, that was fun. Do you want to hang out again?" And she's like, "That was all in character. I'm not really interested in you." I'm like, "Oh, okay." That's really kind of strange, but I get it, I guess. If that's the way that you play it, and hey, go, more power to you. Still had fun. Thanks. See you never. But yeah,
poor Seth.
It didn't bother me because, if nothing else, honesty is the best policy. And
sure.
Like I said, it was weird to me at the time. But I got to have a pretty good night of fun out of it, and I totally would do it that way again, even with the end result.
Well, there you go. Well, hey, as long as you had a good time.
So, have you done actual bedroom role playing, like we said, Farm Boy and Stable Girl, or Superman and Lois? Have you done a lot of that, or is that just like, eh?
Not a lot. My partner now isn't so much, I don't think, into that.
But you're lucky that they're so beautiful.
Yes, I'm very lucky. They're very, very attractive. No, he's gorgeous. Mm-hmm. He's gorgeous.
But it's not his thing. Therefore, it's not your thing either.
Oh no, it's still 100% my thing, and there's nothing in this world that's going to ever stop me from trying. Mm-hmm. And give it a college try every so often. It's just
as you wish.
He just gets very excited.
Oh.
What can I say? I'm hard to resist. There's just no.
You know what? If I didn't see you as a sister, I could say the same thing, but I do. So no.
All right. So moving on from me, because I could just gush about role playing all night. And also, if anybody wants to jump on FetLife, you can look me up on their Living Unscripted. And
I'm Seth Miss over here.
Seth Miss, as in like Christmas, only Seth Miss. Mm-hmm. Or if you're Hispanic, Seth Moore. Okay. Which is what I thought when I first saw it. I'm like, well, I mean, that works.
So here's a story behind that. So there are certain porn sites that you have to have an account to favorite videos and download videos. And I typed my name in, and it was taken. It's like, how is my actual name taken? So I'm just like, Seth Mass. Okay, fine. Click. We're done.
Nice.
It was whatever. Okay.
So look me up on FetLife, Living Unscripted, all one word. Mm-hmm. You'll see the show logo is currently my screen, my profile picture. So
same here.
Look me up on there, and there we go.
I also have the show logo as my profile picture. Come say hi.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you did put it up, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah. So come up, say hi, follow me on there, and drop me a line. You can message me on there about the show also. That's
suggest topics.
Totally cool. Exactly.
All right,
yes, so perfect.
After all the shameless self-promotion that we will do again at the end of the show, by the way.
Yes.
Another one that's super, that's super, I know we're both super into it. We talk about it so much. Ropes and restraints. So
Yes.
You are super into the shibari, or you want to try it at least. You really want to give it a go.
So here's the thing with shibari. I love it. I love looking at it. I love seeing other people in it. I would love to have it done to me. I am too self-conscious.
Okay,
I think to have it done to me, only because it's so intricate and it's such just fucking artwork.
Do you think that you would want to do it to a partner, to your, like, if it, like, for example,
no.
This is predominantly, and I won't say exclusively, this is predominantly something done to women for the most part.
For the most part. Now, I have seen some male models. I have seen actually quite a few of them on FetLife. But no, it is, for the most part, I think what I've seen probably, I'd say a 90-10 split female to male.
So you would,
from what I have seen.
This wouldn't be something you want to do to your partner. It'd be like, eh.
It would be a lot of work because, again, like a lot of the kinks that we're talking about today, it takes a lot of education. It takes a lot of practice, knowing the knots, how to correctly tie people. Oh God, you have to be so careful.
Yes.
It can't be too loose. It can't be too tight. You have to know exactly where to place it on the body so that you're not constricting blood vessels, so that you're not pinching nerves. I mean, it's so particular.
Do you remember the board game Mousetrap from the 80s?
Yes.
So remember how long that game took to set up, and you would only play it like once or twice ever, and it would sit in the closet for the rest of the time? That's what a lot of these are. It's like you break it out when you really want to, but it's just it's so time consuming that it's just like, we'll get there when we get there.
Yes.
Which is fair.
Yes.
Now,
and they're also an investment.
Yes, because to get proper,
a financial investment.
To get proper shibari ropes and like even proper ribbon is not cheap.
No. And then if you want to do any kind of suspension, you really have to have the equipment to do proper suspension.
Not only that, in your home as well, or wherever you are, you have to make sure that there's proper studs in the roof and the wall, and make sure that you can actually support this kind of stuff.
Or if you're not doing studs, then you have to have what are they called? The arches.
Beams?
You know, where you actually have the suspension beams or whatever, where they're like the big braces.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's
So what are your thoughts on other, like we touched on it briefly, like metal restraints and stuff like that. And we talk about leather restraints, but do you like handcuffs either with yourself or with your partner? Like talking like cuffing someone to a headboard, that old chestnut, we've seen in every sitcom in the 90s,
Okay, so I love handcuffs because I have a uniform fetish. Not a fetish, sorry. Because we're learning.
Yeah, you just learned this.
I did just learn this. I have a uniform kink. So I do love me some handcuffs. However, I'm not a big fan of chain.
Okay. So I want to circle back. And I have to ask: Has sexy time happened in the uniform?
No.
Oh, that's
so. Here's
sad.
It's
Because I mean, your history, you've been with a couple people that have jobs that required a uniform. So I was just curious if it ever happened in the past. That makes me think.
And you know what has always happened?
What's that?
Like every experience that I've had with anyone that I've been with who has had the correct attire to fulfill my fetishes, kinks. See, I'm going to have to get back with this. Who has had the correct attire to fulfill my kinks? They've always said the same thing. And honestly, I kind of get it, I guess, in a way. It's bringing work home.
I can 100% see their point. But
as a nurse, I wouldn't want to come home and play naughty nurse. on
the other hand, I totally have done it. Multiple times.
You ask me to, if you ask me to whip out like my stethoscope, I'm going to listen to your fucking bowel sounds and tell you that you need to poop. Like, I mean, it's just not going to be sexy.
Well, not only that, it's like, okay, our personal lives again. The last thing I want to watch when I get home is a medical show. I don't want to watch, Grey's Anatomy or, one of the Chicago hospital shows. No, I live that. I don't want to see that shit.
Oh no, I'm 100% watching them just so I can judge.
No, they irritate me. Like, no, that's not accurate. That's not how you do a blood pressure. God damn it. Anyway, we're getting back on our pedestals. We got to get off our pedestals and move on.
So yeah, I'm sorry. I gotta mute my mic. Hang on, folks.
For those that missed the previous episode, Sarah actually, unfortunately, came down with the COVID, and she's out of the woods. She is back to work and in recovery, but there's still those lingering effects. So hang in there, kid. You're doing great.
COVID ain't no joke, kids.
Yeah.
All right.
So.
Whew, sorry about that. That was gnarly.
All right.
Yeah. So good times.
Yeah. So let's talk about one that gets a really bad rep from a lot of people. And
actually, before we get to there, I do just want to say real fast, because I did have one of our listeners submit just some comments about restraints too, since we've kind of talked about our thoughts on restraints. Okay. I wanted to just throw in a third party as well. This is coming from somebody who likes to do the restraining.
Mm-hmm.
So even though, like you pointed out earlier, I'm a little bit of an A type as far as, my personality goes, but usually sexually, I tend to be more submissive. I'm a little subby. This listener trends more towards the dominant end of the spectrum. So he's more of the restrainer as opposed to the restrainee. So this listener has a preference for leather and chains over rope. He likes the look of leather restraints. And let's see. I'm just going to quote him. I could have a good time simply watching a partner struggle. There's a power trip, being the person that put them in that position, but also being the one that decides when they're set free. Consent, of course, being part of the scene, but there is still the exchange. So I think he makes a really good point, because it's not just the tactile. It's not just the... Sorry, I'm going to cough again. It's not just the tactile. It's not just the, I'm being restrained. It's not that there's so much to it that's psychological. It's not just the physical. It's the kind of like what we talked about earlier, knowing that you're putting yourself in that position with somebody and having that trust. Mm-hmm. There is that power play that's going on. Totally. So there's just so much more to it than sexual. So much of it is psychological with so many of these kinks.
Absolutely. So I guess where do your kinks lie, I should say? In the mind or in the body? Or is it a combination of the two?
So with my kinks, I think, because all right, as far as getting sexual gratification, all I need is a magic wand and 10 minutes and I'll fall asleep happy. So really my kinks, it's really more about psychological.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would say that even though mine based more towards the physical, I would say there's only 90% mental. I like the feeling of what's going on, and I like the mental place it puts me in, because
right,
we're both caregivers, for a profession, and when you are the sub being taken care of, and me being more on the dom side, just either getting out some of that frustration from people that aren't taking care of themselves, and I have to do it, or just the frustration of the world in general. It's cathartic,
Sure.
So now, are you ready to move on to our next little subject here?
Well, and just I want to point out, so you talked about, being a dominant and using using kinks. And I think when you're talking about that and talking about restraints, you're talking more like the BDSM
Yes.
side of it. Using it as an outlet, for frustrations and things like that.
Because as much as I call myself a dom, and I control things, or I lead the way anyway, my partner is normally in control. They're the person that tells me, this is what I want. And okay, I will do that, but you're going to do it my way. And you're going to do it the way that, I know this. We're both going to like it. Trust me. Have your trust in me. And if I lead you astray, if I lead you astray, we'll go another way.
And I think we need to do an entire episode on BDSM.
Oh, we are. It's on our list.
Yeah, yeah. We're going to talk about the dominant submissive relationships. We're going to talk about. I think we even need to talk a little bit more about bigs and littles.
Absolutely.
I think we need to talk about the dynamics between the sadists and masochists. So I think that there's a lot that we need to delve into there that maybe isn't entirely understood by the community at large, outside of, the kink community, and even in the kink community to a point.
Absolutely.
But I think that's something that's highly misunderstood and gets abused a lot, is this idea that the dominant is some
asshole
some over testosterone fueled male who's going to storm in and, grab a woman or anyone by the hair and be like, this is what we're going to do. And we're going to do it my way. And we're going to do it now. That's not how it works.
I want my sub to enjoy every single second of what's happening. My pleasure in it is the last thing I care about. And that's just to me. That's how I deal.
I have never met a dominant who has ever said, well, okay, I take that back. I have never met a dominant that I consider to be a true dominant who has ever said that they are the ones who truly hold the power in the relationship. Yeah,
and I would agree with that. I would totally agree with that.
Because like you said, at the end of the day, it's, the submissive is the one who's, not necessarily calling the shots, but they're the ones setting the limits.
Yes. They have.
Now, the dominant is the one encouraging them.
And pushing those limits.
Sure. Like, you know what? You did this and I'm really proud of you.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of how you handled this situation. I think you can do better. Will you try?
And here we go with Sarah again in her aftercare fetish.
I do love aftercare.
Okay, so this next one,
anyway.
this next one, a lot of people make fun of and a lot of people shit on. I don't think it's fair because there's something wrong with it. It's a bit strange, but if you're enjoying it and no one's getting hurt and everyone's consenting of age, it's fine. We're talking about pet play. Pretending,
right? Well, exactly.
And what that pertains is pretending that you're an animal, and your partner is the human caretaker. Be it if it's pony play, where you're getting up in all this basically a horse costume, a bit in your mouth, and maybe even a saddle, and you're trotting around some field somewhere, or in a carriage while your partner is, riding in the carriage, whipping you a little bit, or puppy play where you wear a dog costume or something like that. A lot of people shit on these lifestyle, and this is one of the things. I've done a couple of these. Some of them are really cool. Some of them are not for me. I'm not really into puppy play. Pony play is fun to watch because, man, these people look great in their costumes a lot. It's like
absolutely.
It's almost like world-class cosplay. You put a lot of time and energy into this. I'm so happy.
And a lot of money.
I'm so happy that you're happy.
Sure.
And like I said, as long as everyone's of age and consenting, go to fucking town. Enjoy yourself. It's your life. You get one. So.
Absolutely.
Now,
absolutely.
Have you engaged in this at all? Have you watched it in person? Or
I have not watched it in person, and I have not engaged in it outside of, very basic in the bedroom role play. So no, dressing up, anything outside of a collar, and a leash, and, eating out of a bowl on the floor.
That's hot.
Once or twice.
Did you enjoy it, or was it not for you?
The bowl on the floor, not so much. That I think that was a little bit much, but the like curling up, being petted on the couch, like that was nice. But again, that falls into the Sarah loves aftercare. Like that's, that kind of does it for me. So that kind of fits into what I enjoy anyway. But I think it's fantastic. I would watch it all damn day.
Yeah, and then some of the clubs that I belong to, they were a large group of people that were very much into it. And like I said, the amount of money, there was one person that spent $14,628 on their horse costume, and they looked fantastic.
Oh, I believe it. Okay, and it's like it's all custom work.
Yeah, and her and her partner were so happy, and I don't think I don't think I've seen a happier couple. It was like, you ladies are fantastic. I love you so much.
Well, they do the whole, I don't know what the actual horse equivalent is, but they do, there are groups, they have whole competitions where they, the ponies go out and they have
I've been to one.
Yeah. They're jumping fences and racing, and, they have like agility contests and where they're pitting these ponies and they get, trophies and ribbons.
Nobody was angry. Nobody was pissed. Everyone was smiling and having a great time. And
right.
It was such a cool
environment. And they do the same thing for the puppy play. They do like the not the kennel club, but what's the dog show that they do on TV?
Yes.
That's so fancy that everybody loves.
Yeah.
I can't think of it. But anyway, but
it's the Westminster Kennel Club dog show, and I hate it so much.
Yeah. Yes, they do that, but like with puppy play.
Yes.
And I think that's fantastic. That makes me so happy.
And this goes back to the beginning. Just because it's not for you doesn't mean it's bad.
Exactly. And like you said before, you have two consenting adults doing something that they love.
And not always just two. Let's keep that out there. It could be more.
Okay. Yes. I'm sorry.
Consenting adults blanket term.
Consenting adults blanket term.
Yeah.
Trekkies. I'm a Trekkie. You have Trekkies out there dressing up, spending thousands of dollars on their cosplay. And
people are out there shaming them for it when all they're trying to do is have fun. And
shaming them less now than they were 10, 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah. Because some of those, like, okay, let's pull it. Vin Diesel, huge D&D nerd. And if I doubt anyone's going to give him shit for that.
No.
Who was that? The big werewolf guy.
Joe
Manganiello.
What is it?
Yeah, Joe Manganiello.
Yes.
Yeah, huge nerd. Good luck telling him.
I'd play in his dungeon.
Oh God.
He has a dungeon.
I know. I'm aware. I'm jealous of him.
A D&D dungeon, Seth.
I'm sure he has another one too. I mean, who knows? We don't know that he doesn't. All right. So, do you have anything else to talk about? Any final kinks or words of wisdom before we do the socials and a little surprise at the end here?
The only other one that I think I really wanted to mention, and only because it was introduced, or it was offered up by a previous guest from our show, Bailey.
Hey, Bailey.
Our porn shop expert. Yes. Hello, Bailey, who I just want to give a little shout out. Recently had a medical procedure, just a routine sort of, operation. Lots of people have them, but she's doing well, and I wish her the best and a speedy recovery.
Get well soon. Love you bunches.
Get well soon. We love you bunches. So she has a little kink for macrophilia.
This is a popular one.
You know what? And I didn't know that there was a name for it, but I have it as well. It's giants or large people, much larger people. I have always been obsessed with like really, really tall people. like, I love to feel small. I'm average height. I'm a stockier build.
Mm-hmm.
I'm peasant stock, as I like to call myself. I'm good field hand, material.
Yeah.
So I love the idea of being helpless and at the mercy of somebody bigger and stronger than myself. So I totally get this fetish or this kink. Sorry.
And I think the root cause of that is, you touched on it a little bit, is that people inherently want to be protected for the most part. So I think it's a feeling of safety. Like, I don't have to fight for myself. This person's going to fight for me. I'm safe here, if that makes any sense.
Possibly. Mine is more just like, I want to be easily overpowered.
That goes into the whole consensual non-consent thing too. You want that, but you don't want it dangerously.
Exactly. Like, because I'm also into the consensual non-consent. That's also a kink for me.
Yeah.
So, but I'm a hardy peasant stock. So I can also, there's a reason that I'm a very good nurse.
We said on the show before,
hold my own.
Yeah, I'm a fairly large man. I'm 6'4". I'm 240 pounds. I'm a big guy. I've had plenty of women and men approach me because, like, hey, how are you? You look really nice. I'm like, okay. Yeah, I'm tall and I'm built. What's your point? Oh, that's your point? We can totally talk. We can totally talk. If you want me to put my body, I'm cool with that. I'm no problem. We're cool.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the draws for my partner.
Oh God, he's so handsome. All right, so
yep.
Are you ready for the little surprise I talked about earlier? Before we wrap everything up. So
yes, please, because I keep coughing in everybody's ear and I feel bad.
I didn't discuss this with you, and I just thought of it, but I think it's a great idea. I know. I'm really curious now. We need more Twitter followers because we've only got like a handful, and that shouldn't be because we got a lot of subscribers. I know you all have.
I know. What the hell, guys?
I know you have Twitter. So the day that this show drops, we're going to put a poll on the Twitter page, which is @InTheSackPod. 4 choices. You, our listeners, are going to pick the next topic for this show of the 4 choices we give you. Now, I'm not telling you what they are right now.
Because I just yelled the topic for the next show out in the parking lot at work tonight.
That's terrible. It might not be. Have them go vote for it, just to be sure.
I only think 3 people heard, so hopefully.
So the day, if you're listening to this, the day it comes out, go over to our Twitter page @InTheSackPod. There'll be 4 choices. Pick your favorite.
Now.
Yes, right now. And pick your favorite, because it won't be up there forever. But pick your favorite topic, and we will discuss that on the next show. And our other social medias, Facebook.com/InTheSackPodcast. Instagram, also @InTheSackPod. And like we said, on FetLife, Sarah is living unscripted. I am Sethmas. Friend us there. We like people. Tell us what you think.
I love people.
Yeah. You want to email us something about the show, Seth and Sarah podcast @gmail.com. We don't really do TikTok. Who knows? We might. Should we? Let us know.
Snapchat? I don't know.
Snapchat, man, sure, fine. If you want it, we'll do it because we are here for you people to spread the knowledge.
And you probably just get snaps of me complaining about how people drive because that's really all I mostly snap.
Yeah, there's that.
Sorry.
So, before we get out of here, again, so many thank yous that we have to give out because this show is produced and edited by Bradley Arl. Hi, Brad.
Yes, Bard. Bard, we love you. Music
by Bradley Arl. Again, thank you. Cover art by Sarah. Yay!
Yay! That was me.
And is uploaded to the interwebs by Franklin. Franklin, thanks again.
Yay, Frank!
So until next time, when you pick the topic and we jump once again in the sack.
With Seth and Sarah.